that all my stuff is set up right and that you can hear me. Sometimes it takes a second. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, so it isn't popping up. In the meantime, I'm going to get my slides ready. Okay. All right, let's try it again. Let's try it again. There I am. Let's make sure you can hear. Okay. All right. Super awesome sauce. Let's move the screen around. All right, guys, I'm really so excited to share this with you. Okay. All right. So I'm super excited because, I'm really excited about a lot of things, actually. First of all, I'm really excited because I'm playing with a new camera today. And I've been using my Logitech forever. And I found this super cool camera on my I'm gonna make this bigger for a second. On my la 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 Amazon, and I really want to try it. And it seems to be working pretty good. And so it's kind of fun because it has like some extra stuff to it, and I can like blur my background and not have to have so many shining lights on my face, which, if you've never done this before, it can be very obviously distracting to have gigantic lights. Like when I do my little morning things, the light that I use is so bright, I can see a halo after I'm done when I go to work. But because I'm recording in the morning, it's so dark, I can't not have it, or I look really washed out and like I just rolled out of bed, which mornings are my fave. So that definitely isn't it. So, you guys, we're talking about Gate 55. If you haven't dove in to human design before, I'm telling you that you are in for a freaking treat, because human design is one of my absolute favorite things. And it is, just to put it simple, it's a life changer, like a complete life changer. So I one of the things as a business owner, for those of you that have businesses as well, and it's all about managing time, especially right now, because I just asked Cody, I was like, do I dare say I've been it's not like a secret, right? But it's this thing that I've been keeping to myself, but now a ton of people know because it's getting too close to time. And so I made the cutest meme, which I'm going to put up. But I'm making a huge, huge change in life. And so I'm sharing that with you because sometimes when we go to make a change and we make a shift in life, if we feel uncomfortable or we start to feel that fear, then we start doubting ourselves and we're like, maybe I'm making the wrong decision. And when I started this process, which I'll tell you what it is in a second, I had absolutely no um I want to say desire for it to actually work out initially. Um, I sort of was like, I feel like I was like playing with an idea that sort of was a opportunity that came, right? Because when we're living authentically and we're living aligned, then amazing opportunities happen for us. And so I feel kind of like I was sort of a cat, like toying with the idea, because I'm so set with, I know I'm going to talk about it, with the company that I'm currently with right now, that I love, that I was literally like, "Oh, I'll be buried in the front yard of the building." And for those of you that know me personally, know that I'm not kidding, right? I'm the person that when people come for job interviews, I'm like, "Oh, I've been here for 7 years now." And like I absolutely love what I do. So if you're just new following me, I have an amazing corporate position that I absolutely love, working in a manufacturing facility, making goldfish crackers and cookies. And I've been there now for 7 years, and that opportunity was such a huge blessing for me. I was talking to my boss because this is also like one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I was telling him how grateful I was because of this opportunity in this company, I've had some amazing mentors and some wonderful bosses, and I've learned and grown so much over the past 7 years there. And so, that's something that I do outside of my energy healing business, which I'm always the one that does things differently than everyone else. I am so not the norm follower. So it's really interesting because in my line of work outside of I really need my beads. In my line of work outside of uh energy in my energy work, um it's kind of a big push that you should quit your job and throw out your corporate life and do your energy work full time. And I'm like, but that's not what I'm aligned with, right? Like, this is my zen and this is my balance. I get so much purpose from the people that I work with and then doing my energy healing practice on the side that it just is like the perfect balance for me. And so instead of taking it and running like with what everyone else is doing, I'm like, oh, I'm going to build this platform where I can show you how to build your business. And still, if you want, and it's your choice to keep doing other things that you love, if that's what aligns with you. So that's why I love human design, is because I guess it's probably been like about, I don't know, a month and a half or so ago when this opportunity presented itself. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go ahead and give it a shot. Oh, by the way, if you're here, I love for you to say hello. So tell me where you're from, and I'll say hi back to you. Even if you are joining and it's not live anymore, I'll still come back and comment with you. And I decided to look into this job opportunity, and it ended up just all working out so crazily. I want to call it crazily, but it's really not crazily because, right, when you're aligned and you're doing things correctly, then beautiful things happen for you. And they don't usually, I'm going to say that, I'm going to emphasize, they don't usually make sense, because when you're being really aligned, things don't often make sense. That's why amazing opportunities happen. I'm trying to see, like, I went onto my thing so I could see who's saying hello, because my streaming software is just telling me that you're saying hello. So I'm saying hello back, but know that I will come back and figure out who you are because I can't tell. Anyways, so we're going to talk about Gate 55 today. And when I was looking at this opportunity, and someone was like, actually, it wasn't someone, it was Cody. He was saying, like, how are you going to know what decision to make? And I said, oh, I don't even have to worry about it. Like, it'll be so easily apparent to know the choice that needs to be made because I'm living my human design. And that is what we're going to talk about, is Gate 55. Now, if you are, and I'm going to hop right over here in case you, let me edit this. In case you aren't on there, I decided to correlate, because one of the things about running a business and also working full time is that you got to do things smarter, right? Work smarter, not harder. So I decided, like, hey, I'm going to correlate today's live with the energy of the week. So if you're getting my emails, you know that I'm sending you out like how you align with the energy, how you can journal with the energy that is available this week based off of where the human design transitions are. And Cody, I'm like, he decorated, did you see my thing with like little Valentine stuff? And there's still little stickers on my mic. So it was super cute. But we're aligning with the energy of the week. And I thought, well, let's dive deeper into what Gate 55 is, so that if you're getting that email, you can have an even like deeper understanding of the energy of this week and what's available to you. So that is what we're talking about. So if you're just joining, my name is Amy Jorgensen, and I absolutely love teaching. It is my purpose and my passion. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I'm the founder of the ELV method, which allows us to dive into your subconscious and create this beautiful connection back with your cognitive mind, where you can release things like toxic phrases that people have said to you. I call it layers of conditioning. So you want to get back to that joyous, zen, inner child space. And that's what ELV does for you. And I'm also a human design alchemist because I love human design. So let's dive closer into gate 55. Okay. Now, one of the things you're going to say is, how does this affect me? So if you do not have, let me type this over here. If you do not have your human design, I will give you one absolutely free. Okay. I'm not going to do a full reading for you, but I will um, request your human design chart. I will send you your chart so you can at least see it, because then you can tell if you have gate 55 active or not. Okay. So when gates are active, our energies are a little bit different than when they're not. And so you can tend to absorb the energy of other people. That's another thing that my ELV method does, which is lot different than other energy methodologies that are similar, is we can release negative energies that are in these specific gates that you have picked up from other people, because it's really easy to absorb things. Like, that, right? Because when you're around someone that's really angry, you're like, you feel really icky and you want them to get away from you. Okay. So let's see. Let's see more about gate 55. And if you do have your human design chart, you should look and see, is gate 55 colored in or is it open and white? Let me find my mouse. Where is my mouse? Okay. So what is human design? If you're like, I don't know what human design even is. Okay. So it's basically your unsuppressed self. So you grow up as a child and you are um, living in this beautiful space of authenticity. And then everyone starts to chisel that away from you, because you learn as a child that when you respond correctly, you get rewarded. And when you respond incorrectly, you suffer consequences. And so you start being everything that everyone wants you to be, and you stop living who you really are. So all those things as a kid that you're like, "Ooh, I want to do this when I grow up." And no negative energy towards anyone as I was growing up, but I wanted really to be a pilot when I was a kid. Well, first I wanted, my mom would laugh if she's watching this, but I wanted to be everything at least once. But I wanted to be a teacher and a vet, right? And now I know that's just my personality type, but I really wanted to be a pilot at one point. And um, I remember, like, I even had like a code name for, the talking about myself at school, was an airline name. And I really wanted to be a pilot. And at one point, even a military pilot. And I remember just like doing a sixth grade assignment where I was supposed to dive into like a career path and how would I get there. And I remember like seeing how much it costs on top of a regular college tuition to become a pilot. And it was astronomical. And I mean, back then it was, even now today, it's like crazy, way more. But, anyways, and so it was kind of the deterrent. And having people be like, I will say people are like, oh, you're a girl, like, And so a lot of people sort of talked me out of that. And it didn't come back around full circle until I was in college going to school to be a teacher, and I was doing all these projects and like these charts and making cute things, which, if I'm aligned to make cute things, like when I do my PowerPoint presentations, then it's all good. But doing that in a classroom setting was not really my gig. And so also I tend to just mesh better with the opposite gender. No offense, but they're just easier for me to get along with. And so um, I jumped into the world of aviation. And so it's because, I veered away from it. Probably now looking back, though, I can say, because timing wasn't right. But when you're not living um your authentic self, then you do things like that, right? People can talk you out of decisions. People can talk you out of things that are really the best for you, because you've learned to listen. You trust those authority figures. That's what you've been taught. So when you live your human design, it's your unsuppressed self. It's who you are 100% without any interruptions. When we are um not living our human design, we call it living as our not self. And so when you live at your not self, there's a specific theme that comes with that, depending on what your human design looks like. So it can be anger, it can be frustration. And so if you find that you're really plagued with like this specific emotion, it's probably because That's your not self theme coming out. And so, like I mentioned, it's just conditioning to do in order to be rewarded and accepted. And so your human design is this really cool blueprint. We're not going to go into the scientifics of it. I do have a course on this that does touch closer on the details, but just know, because when people are like, "Oh, is it kind of like astrology?" And I'm like, "Well, kind of, but not really, because only a little itty bitty part of it is the same as astrology." So it's I Ching, human genetic code, astrology, your chakra system. Only it's an advanced chakra system, because with human design, we learn that we're much more than a seven centered being. We actually evolved um, at the late 1700s into nine centered beings. And so that's another thing that my ELV method does, is we clear energies from these two additional chakra systems. Tree of life, quantum mechanics, and then genetics and biochemistry. It's a lot of amazing stuff. So it's exactly who you are down to the minuscule detail. And it's things that you're consciously aware that you do. But the beautiful part of it is it's things that you're not consciously aware that you do. So you really get to be aware of the like little itty teeny bitty details of who you are. And it makes sense to you. So you stop doing things that are frustrating for you. For example, one of my in my human design, one of my channels is specifically for people to actually feel very uncomfortable around me. So if you don't know that, then you go throughout your life feeling like people just don't like you. But it's not really the case. It's just that people that are on a different vibrational frequency tend to and also it's even more amplified for people who are not living their authentic self or are not living in integrity. I have a very icky vibrational match for those people, and they tend to just not want to be around me, like, right? That's why now I just embrace it. Like, you either love me or you hate me, and I'm okay with that, because I know the people that do not like me, you are not meant to be in my tribe, and that's okay. There's plenty of other people out there for you to engage and have friendships with, and this, that, and the other. But I used to beat myself up and be a people pleaser because, oh, what do I need everybody to like me? And now I realize, no, the correct people like me, and the people that are not supposed to be in my um, environment don't like me. And it's okay for me to let them go. Okay. So that's what human design is. So we're going to talk about this specific gate because it's located in the solar plexus center, which is also considered to be our emotional center. So in your chart, once again, if you have your human design, you can pull it up and see if this center is defined or undefined. That means that it's colored in or it's not. And I'll show you the shape of it in a second. Once again, if you don't have your human design chart, you can email me and I'll get it for you. You're going to have to give me a couple of tidbits of information, but I will run it for you. I will not do a reading for you, but I will send you your chart so you can at least see it. Okay. All right. So defined. If your center is defined, the center is where your emotional authority comes from, and your emotions resemble a wave resulting in mood changes that you should allow yourself to feel. But what happens when we feel moody? Right? We've been taught like something's wrong with you. You're all emotional all the time, blah, 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 blah. And then it almost like, at least for me, right? When somebody points out that like I'm being feisty or irritable or something, it like amplifies that, right? And I'm really like reactive. If I'm not paying attention, I'll be like, really? You think I'm being wicked? Let me show you really what wicked is. And so it's important to understand that these emotions that you can feel from your solar plexus center, you're designed to process things over time. So doing so allows you to see more. So you're basically exploring every situation. It looks like much like a roller coaster, and you want to make sure that you're letting yourself feel all the feels. But most of the time we resist it because we're like, ooh, I mean, I'll be 100%, which I didn't even finish talking to you about, making my decision. And at the end of the week, I will be switching companies, and it's been really emotional for me. And instead of like going into the space that I would have before of like, oh, I'm a type A personality and I was a pilot and I'm hardcore and nothing ever takes me down. Like, I allow myself to be emotional about it. It's okay for me to be sad, then I'm leaving my amazing friendships at work. And it's okay for me to have some uncomfortable feelings as I know that I'm going to a new company where I literally don't know anyone. And I'm starting to have to make these relationships all over again. I mean, I've been with my company for 7 years. That's a long time to build amazing relationships with someone. But, right, we look at things like this and we choose to view it as an opportunity because I know I'm going to now make even more amazing relationships with even more amazing people. So, if you have an undefined solar plexus, that means that it's white in your chart. You will absorb and amplify the emotions of others. And when you're unaware of this, you'll basically ride the emotional waves of those around you. So, when you're around people that are really emotional, you're like, oh, you're basically very empathetic and you're sucking that in almost to the point that it's sympathetic, where you're becoming how they're feeling. And others may view you as really emotionally unstable and you feel confused over why you're feeling a certain way. Isn't this stuff so cool? It explains. So you're not like, why do I feel like this? Everyone just blames it on the moon. It's a lot more complex than that. So here's the gate 55. This is the one we're specifically talking about today. So if you pull up your chart and you see this cool little shape in your design, this is where gate 55 is. And if it's colored in, then that means that this is active for you. So I'm just going to actually read this verbatim because it's really good. So this gate has a purpose, invites us on a transformative journey, one that encourages us to shift our perspective to a higher plane. Now, when I say shift your perspective, I'm going to give you a great example of this in a second. It beautifully highlights how our consciousness, when attuned to the divine source, opens the doors to a realm where abundance knows no bounds. This is a journey of awakening where we realize that our connection to the divine is a wellspring of infinite possibilities and unending richness. So, this means that when you work on releasing and balancing and clearing and aligning with the energy of this gate, you have trust. You have trust in the divine, whoever the divine or whatever the divine is for you. You have trust in that divine energy. Now, those of you that may be new to watching me know that because I align with so many different clients, I believe in everything and nothing at all. So you'll never hear me talk specifically about a divine energy or what I personally think it is, because I know that spiritual paths for me are very personal for people. Um, and so it's whatever that energy looks like for you or feels right for you. It's trusting that it's there. It's trusting that you have divine guidance, whether you believe that's through spirit guides or your ancestors that have passed on, whatever that is for you. Um, if it's specifically the Godhead, just know that that energy is available to you, and it's not. It does not come with limitations when you are aligned. Now, I also want to come back up to this, the transformative journey, one that encourages us to shift our perspective to a higher plane. So, shifting your perspective is everything. Okay, so beliefs, your reality, and your perspective are all really intertwined. And your perspective becomes what you believe. And so when you start shifting your beliefs and shifting your perspective, you can literally change your entire reality. So if you're having a hard time believing something that's good for you, or believing even in what I'm talking about, I just ask you to have an open mind, because I've been there, done that, and I lived a very resistant, physical based life where I was sucked into really structured religion, and it did not work for me. And I'm going to repeat that. It did not work for me. If it works for you, great. It did not work for me. And I was living life with so much resistance and feeling shame and guilt, and just everything was confusing. When I went to make a decision, I felt like I was having an anxiety attack. My anxiety was leading to depression. On top of the fact of all of the stuff that I was taught as a kid, I was making really stupid mistakes based off of values that really I didn't really actually believe in. And I got into some great um, problems for myself. Now, I'm going to make myself a note because I want to show you guys an exercise next week. I'm going to show you how you can actually go back and change beliefs or change memories. How cool is that? You have to be willing to do it, but with some techniques, you can actually, using some NLP techniques and some other techniques, you can actually change your memories. You really can. That's why if I asked you about a memory that you had, like let's just do hypothetically, let's say you're 30. If I asked you 10 years ago about a memory that you had when you were 10, you would actually tell me the memory's different today than you did 10 years ago. When if I asked you when you're 30 to tell me about the memory compared to if I asked you to tell me about the memory when you were 20, because your memories change and your subconscious is constantly rearranging things based off of the filters of what you're experiencing. So when you go through different events, it actually changes your perception of what previously happened to you. That's why sometimes you're like, ooh, I can't really remember. Or we can ask like five different people about an event that they just witnessed, and people will tell you that someone was wearing a different colored shirt. Even if it just happened, it's just how we filter things. Okay. So, gate 55, we when we talk about gates, we talk about a highest and lowest expression. Now, your highest expression means that you're living in your authenticity, and your lowest expression means you're not living your human design. So you're not living as yourself. You're being very resistant to who you really are. You're forcing yourself. So, for some, one of the top terms that I think is so overly used is get out of your comfort zone. Some of you are meant to be out of your comfort zone, and some of you are not meant to be out of your comfort zone. Some of you are supposed to be miles out of your comfort zone to get things done. And some of you need to stay more into your comfort zone. Some of you have willpower. Some of you have to use the willpower of other people. So we just aren't taught any of this. So we're living in this, box of these limitations of how we think we're supposed to be, but it's really not in alignment. So when you're living your design and you have gate 55 available to you, you're a visionary and have creative energy. Now, if this gate is open for you and you're living your design, you have the ability to tap into people with gate 55 and create amazing energy based off of them. You have the ability to really trust your access and divine source when you're living your design. You are the energy of the room. So you walk in and the entire room changes based off of how you are. Your mood determines what's correct for you, and you can channel melancholy into creativity. So other things that would make people kind of be in a space of like sadness, it almost in a way means that like your best creativity comes kind of in your darker moments or your deepest moments. And that's something that you should embrace. But if you're not taught that, then don't realize that, ooh, I'm kind of having a low on my emotional cycle right now, and instead of being resistant to be like, "Ooh, I feel horrible, I'm being moody, I'm being emotional," you can realign that perception and be like, "Ooh, I'm at a space right now where I can really channel into my creativity." Cool, huh? But if you're not taught that, then you're just running around feeling miserable and almost belittling yourself and putting yourself down because you feel emotional. Now, when you're living your not self, you can be really indecisive. You can be fearful. You lack faith in your ideas. So you have them, but you're like, ooh, I don't dare go through with it. And you get really caught up in emotional waves because you're so focused on feeling that something is wrong with you because you're having these crazy emotional waves of ups and downs. And so living in your design, you realize that it's normal and you take advantage of it instead of resisting it. Amazing. Amazing. I love this stuff. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about how you can find out more about this energy, right? You can subscribe to my email list. I send out an email every week that shows you how to embrace the energy of the week. So there's a challenge, there's a way to ground yourself, there's a journaling, and also talking about the energy of the week and some challenge to allow you to release some old energies. Okay. You can also do, of course, one-on-one elf sessions where we can release some of the energies that you've absorbed from these gates to get you back into your better space. I also put my email over here, amy@blockedemotions.com, and you can get a human design chart from me. If you want to dive more into it, I do human design readings. And so those are just some ways. Of course, like you can just dive into it. Like that's one of the things that I love is learning. Um, when I went to make my decision about if I was going to change careers, I was like, ooh, I'm so comfortable in my space. I can literally do my job sleeping at this point because I've been there for 7 years. And I was like, oh, let's be honest. Like, here, let me make my face bigger. Let's be honest. Like, I have been in my position for so long. It's like so comfortable for me. And do I really want to go out of my comfort zone and start this over? And I was like, actually, yes, I do, because I'm ready for that change. I'm ready for that challenge. One of my past mentor bosses that I just love to death, he was like, when it's time to change when you're too comfortable. And if you would have asked me about this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd have been like, no way, I'm not doing it. But things just align correctly, and the people that you're around align correctly with you. And, um, timing means everything. Just timing is right. Those opportunities come to you. And I'm just telling you, like, embrace them. So you will see, because I'm so excited that I will post a meme, and I have made myself the queen of cheese, literally. I myself it's kind of like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but it is a queen of cheese. It's a queen in cheese land. And so I'm excited to share that with you. But yes, my last day with the cookies and the crackers is on Friday, and I'm starting my amazing new journey as the queen of cheese on Monday. And you know what? I'm so grateful. I have so much gratitude for both companies, literally. I have so much positive stuff to say about my company that I'm coming from. And I'm honestly so thankful, because how many people really say that? Like, they really enjoy where they're coming from. Like, I don't know where it is, but my friend gave me, well, I took it out of the package and now I don't know where it is. She gave me this like super cute Alice in Wonderland keychain today. I showed it to Cody and I don't know where he put it. Um, and it has like the cutest little phrase on it from Alice in Wonderland about changes, and it's super cute. I'll post it later, but it really is, a beautiful thing and an opportunity, and I'm like filled with so much gratitude. All right, you guys, I hope you have a blessed rest of your week. So blessed to be for you to have amazing things happen for you in your own life. I encourage you to dive deeper into your own human design so that life can be less resistant and more flowing for you. All right, you guys, have a great night. Bye.